Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. I hope you're having a positive and productive day so far. I'm Kel with the Planner Owl, and today I'm reviewing the March Intention Box by Cloth and Paper and walking through all the ways you can use the items inside. The theme for this month is Capsule Wardrobe or Get Ready Routine. I've heard them both mentioned, which I think is a nice theme for March with spring just around the corner. It kind of gives you that reset and recharge theme that I think a lot of people will appreciate. Make sure to stick around until the end for my final thoughts and rating. And as always, feel free to leave me a comment below with any questions or topics you'd like for me to include in my next video. Without further ado, let's hop in. So first we have our refreshed What's Inside card. These double as info cards and journaling cards that depict the theme of the box. On the front you have a black and white photo of what looks like a chair outside of a closet or fitting room with the word Ensemble in this greenish yellow color, and on the back you have a list of what's inside the box. Next, you have the May date card in the updated design, and then we have one journaling card this month. This is the refined journaling card. This is a partially threaded design. You have a card that's wrapped in this tightly woven cloth and refined stitched in cursive at the top. Style is the perfection of a point of view printed below that with RE and C and P printed at the bottom. Then you have this black stitching down the sides to add a sort of clothing or garment tag feel. So I think the idea of this card is a 10 out of 10. I love the idea of having a cloth-like card, especially if you have a leather or faux leather agenda. I think it ups the classic look of your agenda. Where this one fails is the quality. As you can see, the thread along the side is completely coming apart. It looks so bad. I thought about taking the threading out, but then you have a bunch of holes too, and that looks just as bad. Maybe it's just my card that's damaged, but I really hope the quality control does a better job in the future. Getting this and a luxury planning subscription is definitely a bummer. Next, we have the Ensemble dashboard, and this mimics the refined journaling card in terms of materials and design. Here we have this really beautiful embroidered dashboard in the color Ristretto, which is a nice sort of light wood brown with greenish undertones. On the front, you have different lettering stitched across the front that make up the word Ensemble, although to those unfamiliar with the dashboard, it looks more like abstract lettering. The thread itself is stitched in this shiny sort of metallic gray color, and then you have Ensemble in the definition printed in a slightly lifted text on the side. So looking at this dashboard, it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the color, the stitching, the design. It all comes together so well, and unlike the journaling card with the dashboard, they managed to bring in some new and unique elements without sacrificing quality. This is also a thicker dashboard, and it feels pretty durable. I'm not usually a fan of thick dashboards because I always end up fighting for space on my rings, but even though it is thick, it's not nearly as thick as that fluted dashboard that they sent a while back. That one felt like a book, but most people ended up using it as a cover, which is a brilliant way to repurpose it. This one feels more like the thickness of one of their glass plastic dividers like this one, so it should fit in nicely with whatever color scheme your agenda is without taking up too much additional space. Really solid dashboard. I love just about everything about it. One thing to note is that if you use the back of your dashboards to house sticky notes, you're going to have a tough time sticking them to this one just because of the material. And also because the front does have this heavy stitching, the back imprint ends up making the back look a little bit warped. Not a huge deal, but just something I wanted to point out. Lastly, make sure that you let this air out once you take it out of the plastic. It has a very heavy chemical smell. I'm not sure what they used to make this or to seal the cover, but it's very strong. I'm sure it'll go away after a while, but you definitely don't want to store it in plastic or anything enclosed until that smell goes away. I'm not sure how I'm going to use this just yet. I really like it, but it's not landing as a design I would use in one of my planners currently, just with the aesthetic of my agendas, but I'll certainly include it in my rotation in the future. But this is a great dashboard. The colors, the design, the texture, the style, it really fits the wardrobe theme of the box and is something I've never seen before, so kudos to Cloth and Paper for designing such a unique dashboard. Definitely a win, and a lot of people will like this. Next, we have one set of inserts this month. These are the weekly block planner inserts. We have 15 sheets front and back, so 30 pages total, with one demo page in the back. At the top, you have a date field followed by 7 rows with each day of the week abbreviated horizontally and 4 columns for each weekday. So these are really interesting inserts that can be used a number of ways. I originally thought these were horizontal style inserts because of the way the weeks were written, but obviously these would go backwards, which wouldn't make sense. Looking at the demo page here, you can use these for a number of things. Here they include a column for tasks, priorities, work, and home, and a few examples of things you can include under each, like logging important deadlines for tasks, organizing files, checking your email, and buying groceries for home. They have an example here of using this as an outfit scheduler. So here they have top, bottom, shoes, and accessories. Could be a great option if you go into the office every day and you struggle finding something to wear. And then they have an example of my favorite use for this, and that's as a meal planner. You could use each column for each meal and then log the meals you plan to eat for each day of the week. You could even put a little checkbox next to each meal to check off if you stuck to your meal plan or not, or if you strayed. You could also use this to log exercise or mood or other fitness related activities, or if you're in school or taking classes, you can use this to track assignments or due dates as well. That's the great thing about open spreads like this with the simple layout. It gives you the versatility to use it in a number of ways that fits your lifestyle and your circumstance. I do think I'll end up using these in my home agenda, although I'm not sure what section just yet. That setup is coming soon, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see that. But I feel like people will be able to use this for quite a bit. Even something like tracking your budget or no spend weeks could work here too. You can also mix and match. So maybe you have a couple in your work agenda and a couple in your budget planner, or you can use these as project planner inserts as well, especially if you're working on something specific. Maybe use each column for a specific sector or portion of the project, and then each day you can list out and check off each task as you complete them. These are great inserts to have for March, and I'm glad Cloth and Paper included a pack. I know we don't always get inserts in each box, so I'm glad that they did include some nice ones this month. Moving on, we have a set of 3 matte sticky notes. They come in the standard 3x3 size with 25 notes on each, so 75 total. What's interesting about these is that they come in different colors that mimic the texture on each card, which is super interesting. So first we have linen in this beige linen color. This one has a very rough texture, almost scratchy. Then we have fail, which comes in this pale minty green color. This one has a slightly ribbed texture, but it's still fairly soft. And last we have satin, which comes in this light beige color, and this is your standard smooth finish of a standard sticky note. They also come on this silver ring that you can use to remove them, add more cards, or add anything else that you want to on here. You can also just take these off completely and use the silver ring to hold jewelry or maybe a key ring or something. Or if you like the look of this as a set, you can hook the ring to your desk or drawer or something for easy access. You can also theoretically attach it to your planners, but functionally speaking, I feel like that would not only pull your rings and cause separation over time, but it could also get in the way and add extra weight. For me, I always take the stickies off the cards and store them in my drawer. That way I always know where to go when I need to grab one. I love these sticky notes so much, especially the textured ones. It gives such an interesting look to your page other than just color, and can add texture to otherwise pretty blank layouts. The colors they chose are beautiful, especially this green one here. I feel like it's a peaceful, relaxing nature color, and it pairs well with the dark brown of my main agenda and the medium brown of my business planner. I don't plan to use the ring for anything currently, but I may give it to Luna as a cat toy. She had a similar ring that came with the toy that I threw away because it was too small and I thought she was going to swallow it and choke, but this one is large enough, so I'll probably end up throwing it in her toy bin. But getting back to the stickies, not only did they send more this box, but we got full size, multi-texture, neutral colors, and we got 3 sets total. Definitely a win for me for March. Next, we have a set of vegan leather sticker dividers. These are in the same ristretto color that the dashboard comes in. There's 12 total, 4 for the quarters of the year, 1 for tasks, personal, work, and agenda, and then 1 for year, month, week, and day. So these are neat little dividers. I like the look of them and I love that they aren't paper, so the vegan leather should be much more durable. The only thing I'm curious about, and I'm nervous to test it, but I wonder if they're repositionable. If they are, then you can use these just about anywhere you want, including in your paper notebooks or bullet journals. If they aren't repositionable, or if the adhesive is too strong, then you'll rip your paper if you try to adjust it. In that case, I would highly recommend that you use these on a hard plastic or thick vellum as a divider if you have a ring or disc agenda. That way you can use these over and over again without having to worry about purchasing more. If you're using a notebook or journal and you're using these, you pretty much need to have your layout already determined before you put these on your paper, because once you do, you may not be able to move it without tearing your page or loosening the adhesive. Another super minor thing is I wish that they had print on both sides so you could see the label if your agenda is laying on its front, but that's super minor, just a little pet peeve of mine. But overall, I think these are nice little divider stickers. The color and the material very in line with the neutrals of the box so far, and the text can fit a lot of natural divider points in sections, but I would love to see if these make it to the site. It's a customization option, so we can choose what wording we want on each, but these are great stickers, and I'm glad that they gave us a set of 12 to try. And just when I was talking about the neutral color theme of this box, we get a bright yellow paper clip. So this is a sort of half moon shaped clip. They call it the Eclipse, pun intended, I'm sure. But it's really their take on the Ollie clips that have been on the market for a while that you all may be familiar with. Cloth and Paper have sent several of these in the past. Here are a few of their most recent. Most of them come in this sort of dome shape in various textures and colors, but we've yet to see a color this dramatic. This color is called Match Day, which is supposed to mimic a tennis match day in the color of a tennis ball, I guess. I'm a tennis player. I've played my whole life. This color is just not appealing to me at all. It's too stark and contrasting for me, and not in that interesting pop of color way that they've generally done a good job on in the past. I remember their wellness box had a pop of blue. The evening routine box, although I didn't love the contents, they had a pop of red that really fit the theme and the idea of the box. This is too close to like a banana yellow for me to personally use it in my everyday planning, but as always, colors are subjective, and I'm sure a ton of people are going to love this color. The clip itself is really nice. It's a good size and the magnet is pretty strong. The material is super soft, almost squishy, and you can use this anywhere you would typically use a paper clip without having to worry about indentations in your pages. One thing I will say on these clips is make sure that you don't leave them sitting on paper in the same spot for too long, or it can discolor your paper. That's what happened with this one here, but these clips are excellent alternatives to traditional paper clips, and it gives your planners or notebooks that pop of color and texture while still holding pages or grouping sections together. I hate the color, but the functionality is great. And if you like the color, then you get the best of both worlds, practical clip and great addition to the box. Next, we have the Ensemble notebook. This is an A5 size. The front and back cover are all white cardstock with Cloth and Paper printed at the top. It also comes with this removable vinyl-like wraparound cover in that same ristretto monochrome coloring you see throughout this box with Cloth and Paper abstract design. Removing the cover, you can see the exposed spine, which seems to be a feature of this notebook. Here you see the full binding with the yellow bonding thread glued to the spine, which matches the yellow of the clip. You also have this yellow tag here at the top that seems a bit random and out of place if I'm honest. I get the wardrobe theme and the tag sort of design element, but having a loose tag on a notebook seems sort of a reach to me. I don't really understand the choice here, but you can always just cut it off, which is what I plan to do. Opening it up, you have a bright yellow page, again matching the yellow sort of pop of color theme, and then flipping over, you move into your pages. So this notebook has 220 pages total. They're all blank. A lot of bound journals have the first 2 pages semi-glued together. I guess it happens in the binding process. I showed this with my wellness planner setup, but I always take an adhesive strip and glue these 2 together so they don't get in the way, which is what I'll end up doing with this one. So aside from the design, the guts of this is a pretty straightforward notebook, and I like that it's blank inside. It gives you a lot of options of different ways you can use it. I know a lot of people do like more structure to note taking, but even so, you can still use this for note taking, especially if you don't have issues writing in a straight line. It could also be a good way to create your own spreads if you want to build your bullet journal from scratch. I know Pinterest has several ideas that are super interesting. Another option blank grids lend themselves well to are scrapbooking and sketching, although you may be limited in how many additional photos and pins and other things that scrapbook or memory keeping involves, since the notebook itself is already pretty full. If you fill it up with a lot of memorabilia and souvenirs, your notebook will end up super chunky, and because it's pretty thin paper, you may end up with a lot of tears and bends, which won't really look all that great. What it does work incredibly well for is sketching out designs or drawing things out, whether that's graphs, charting, ideas, color matching for inserts, or maybe a home design you're working on, blueprints, and things like that. The other thing I love about this is that it lays completely flat, so you can carry your design across pages, which makes larger drawings or ideas you may be sketching easier to see. I plan to use this as an idea book. I do have a section in my business planner for ideas, but because those inserts are more structured, I'm a bit limited in how much I can sketch and how I draw it out, so I plan to use this notebook for that. But again, that's the great thing about open spreads, is the flexibility it gives you to use the notebook however you see fit. This is a great ad for March. I'm not a fan of the random yellowness, but again, that's just me. I also don't love the exposed spine, but because I'm using it as an idea book, I'm mostly going to be using a lot of heavy penciling and graphing instruments and stuff in here, so the sort of unfinished exposed spine fits in quite well with my intention. I'd love to know how y'all are using this. Blank spreads are so interesting to me. There's so many ways you can use them. Make sure to let me know in the comments. Last, we have 2 writing utensils this month, 1 marker and 1 pen. Looking at our dot marker first, this is the Kuretake Zig Clean Color Dot Marker in the color Fluorescent Yellow. I love these color dot markers. I have several of them in a ton of colors. They make a really great alternative to dot stickers, especially if you're working on thick paper. Doing a pen test with this one, you can see this is definitely true to its name. This is pure fluorescent, practically neon. The marker itself is great. You can use these for marking or highlighting certain dates in your agenda or marking off sections. You can draw lines with these as well. This color is killing me, you guys. I just can't do the neon colors, especially yellow. What I will say is that this does seem to be closer to the standard highlighter yellow, so it does have that sort of old school highlighter feel to it, but it's just not my cup of tea, so this is going in my no pile. That being said, if you're looking for color dot pens, the Kuretake line is fantastic, so definitely check out all the other colors they offer. I'll link the ones that I use below. I also have a reel going through all of the colors as well, so head over to Instagram and check that out if you want to. Next, we have the Uniball Signo RT1 gel pen in the color black. This one has a 0.5mm tip. Doing a pen test here, this seems to write fine. Nothing super notable, good or bad, but it does write smooth. One thing I did notice is when it's retracted, it does tend to rattle a bit, which could get annoying if you use it a lot, but it's a fine everyday black pen to use in your planner. I do just want to say, because it's been a while since I've mentioned it, but I'm not a fan of getting pens in every box. I know that when they changed the subscription last year and increased the price, they sort of combined the planning and stationery subscription with the Pinspiration and gave us this all-in-one box, but I'm not a person who changes pens very often, if at all, so the majority of pens that I get end up in storage. But if you are a pen fan, I would love to hear how you guys use different pens and if there's a method to the madness. Who knows, maybe pen switching is something I may adopt in the future. And that wraps up March's Intention box by Cloth and Paper. So this is another solid box, although there was some quality control issues which have happened a few times over the past year. Functionality-wise though, I think this box really exceeded in giving us items that can be useful to a number of people. They really focused in more on planner items rather than stationary accessories, which I appreciate, Although, based on feedback that I've received and comments on different videos, it seems that that's the direction that they may be going with their subscription. That being said, this box, for the most part, hit the marks in terms of practicality. We got inserts, sticky notes, divider stickies, a notebook, and a magnetic clip. My favorite item this month were the sticky notes by far. The fact that we got 3 in great colors and different textures is what I love to see in these subscriptions. My least favorite item was between the journaling card and the cloth and paper clip. The journaling card because the quality was terrible, and the clip because the yellow just doesn't work for me. But because the clip still has a functional purpose, I think I'll go with the journaling card. There's just no excuse for this kind of error in a luxury subscription that we pay quite a bit for. All in all, I'm rating this box an 8 out of 10. We did have many more practical use items compared to other boxes we've received in the past, including the holy grail that is inserts, sticky notes, and this super unique dashboard. That's something that sets them apart from quite a few planner shops. So overall, I'm happy. I mentioned this last month, but I'm really curious the direction they are going with their subscription. I've heard so many things, and I'm hoping that whatever direction it is, that they keep a nice balance and up their quality control measures so we don't get any more unraveling cards like this one in future boxes. And that's it, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you do want to see more planning and organizational content, please hit that like button and subscribe. You help my channel out a lot. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram for more planner tips and inspo, sending positive vibes your way. Until next time, stay safe and have a wonderful rest of your day.